What comes to mind when David Morgan hears the words rethinking the dollar?
Mike, we could probably spend 2 or 3 hours on that, but I thought about it because you did give me the questions. And I want to distill it down. So when I come to rethinking the dollar, I immediately go to, well, let's think of what the dollar is. And I know you've got other guests. I listened to Chris Dwayne recently. And so the dollar is actually a legal creation in the 1792 Coinage Act. And so dollar is legally defined. The definition, therefore, is always and everywhere the same. And that definition, as you know, Mike, is 371.25 grains of 9995 silver. So the dollar is a weight, and it's a weight of silver. That's the definition. That hasn't changed. That's still at law. So now that we have thought about what the dollar truly is, we want to rethink the dollar. And what we want to think about is what is in our pockets presently, that at the top says Federal Reserve note, but it also says $1. And so when I got the question, what came to my mind was, how did we get from the legal definition that everybody understood from 1792 onward for probably a good 100 years approximately? You know, the crime of 1873 is when silver was first demonetized. And I don't want to go down a rabbit trail with you, Mike. But how do we go from an honest money system for roughly 100 years and morph into what we have now, when the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, knowing fully well what a dollar was defined as, but on a gold standard, and then 20 years later, canceling the contract with the American people on a gold-only standard and making gold illegal for U.S. citizens to own and only settle payments internationally with gold. Right. And then from there, going to 1971, August 15th, and Nixon saying, you know, that contract that we have with everybody around the world that says we'll settle our payments in gold, good as gold, sound as a dollar? No, that's not true anymore. And it's really just a wonderful thing. I mean, those are my words, not his, but right. It doesn't matter. Many economists said it wouldn't make any difference. Well, what difference has it made from 1971 to 2015? And the answer is a great deal. So I'm going to back up and go to 1913 when the Fed was created, and we use their own information. And if you look at a dollar being worth 100 cents in 1913 and using their data, what is it worth today in 2015? It's worth about 3.5 cents. Wow. So this idea that what we think of the dollar is, well, if the dollar is a constant, and it's a constant amount of silver, its value can fluctuate. That's the free market. So I probably drilled down too far, but the real question to me is, let's rethink how we got from something of substance and a weight to something that is just basically a fictional entity that everyone uses, or not everyone, but most of the world uses. Right. And question how we got there and why we let it happen. So that's what I would rethink.